Check, check. Microphone. Good morning. Check, check. Check, check, check. Hello, hello. Check, check. Can you hear me, Grant?
Yes.
Okay. Good morning, good morning. Okay, I think we're about ready to start. We're going to kick this off with an exciting activity this morning before we get into the first plenary. I don't know if there are people outside having coffee, but if we could help bring them in to get a good crowd here, that would be great. We are going to start with me on screen and several iterations here for a minute, which is very exciting. And then we're going to bring on my colleague, Al Ghassim, who's going to join us from Yemen and lead us through an exciting activity on the community of practice. There we go. Grant, you want to bring Ghassim on? All right, we're just figuring the audio out. Give us 1 second.
Can you see the screen? Can you hear me?
All right, for those of you coming in, we're going to be doing an online activity with the community of practice as soon as we get the sound going on here. And we're going to be led by Ghassim, who's going to speak to us live from Yemen.
Hello?
All right, Ghassim, you want to try speaking again?
Hi.
There we go.
Hello? Yeah, you can hear me? Okay, great. So you can hear me and see the screen with the QR code?
We can just see you. Grant, can you bring up the screen? There we go.
Okay, now you can see the screen, QR code. That's good. That's good. Thank you. Good morning. I hope you're all ready for a quick and short challenge. Believe me, it's not difficult, but you really need to follow the instructions. But it's an interesting challenge. And with this challenge, you'll be getting badges for every activity you get, almost all of them. If you've been a member on the COP for some time, you probably already have those badges because they're quick badges that you get for like the first try, like, first reaction, and reply. But if you're new to the COP, you'll get those badges. Everyone, whether you're new or have been in the COP for a while, you're gonna see stars here as you join. So can we start scanning the QR code if you have not scanned the QR code, or use this invitation link.
Is the invitation link posted somewhere, Al Ghassim?
No.
Okay.
Sorry. So I guess I can copy this and post it in the COP.
Sure. And for those of you who are here, if you take out your phone and scan the QR code on screen, as soon as he puts that back on screen.
So
okay.
I'm posting on the COP.
Yeah, if you could share your screen again while you're doing that so we can see. There we go. Yeah, so just scan the QR code with your phone. That should give you an invitation link to join the game on the community practice.
So I'm gonna make a post right now in the COP. Let me post. But if you scan the QR code here, you can see that. Okay, so the link is in the COP.
Okay, so yeah, anyone who's also on the COP should be able to find a posted link there, and maybe we should get started.
Let's see who joined. Let's see how many people joined. Oh, okay, we have quite a number already. So all of you people here in the group, you guys scanned the QR code. Already one person received 2 stars. So once you scan the QR code or use the invitation link, you're going to be redirected to this topic post. The idea is first, find an abstract post in the community practice with the tag DAC 2024. You can use like and a reaction to get the first 2 stars to that topic post, and then copy the URL to that topic post and reply to the challenge post. This one right here. Reply to this one with the link with an emoji and mention the speaker. That's how you get the other remaining stars. When you're done with that, there is a word association game. Just simply select one of these points that you want, or all of them, and click on quote here, and then write what these words mean to you. What do you associate conference with? Maybe your favorite part of the conference. And then we already have 4 people here who jumped into the poll here, responding with the poll here and here. So these 2 polls. With that, you complete the activity for the challenge, and let's see how many people have received stars. Oh, nice. Okay, so if you don't know how to get that reaction, this star, you reply to a post over here. See, okay, you see this 100% that Max used. That 100% is a reaction. So we select a topic post here. For example, let's see, today's announcement. I'm gonna react to it with not a heart, but maybe cheering or the party emoji. It's this one. So this one gives me the star for a reaction. Let's see. Can we run? Okay, that's good. You now have your reactions. Let me zoom out.
Yeah, let's see if anyone can
Nice.
get all 6 of the stars in the next 5 minutes before we have to turn on to the plenary for the morning. This is a live competition. You can see the results coming in from people who are playing the game. So far we've got 5 people who completed the first 2 activities.
We have two people who have mentioned presenters in the topic post, and we have 2 people who have quoted as well. Let's see here. Yeah, Maureen, Barnabas, Jim Grace. Okay, so let me run that again. Replying with the Jim Grace, you replied with the link. That's why you have got a star here.
Yeah, I think Jim Grace is in the lead there. If anyone can catch up with Jim.
And yeah, let me run again. Okay. Meeting people. That's when you respond to the word association game, you get a star here in this column. Okay. The other ones, like It's really simple. Maybe it's taking you time to find an abstract post. If that's the case, in the community on tags, just type in DAC 2024 over here, and you'll find a bunch of abstract posts. Any one of the topics, your favorite, maybe abstract or something you're interested in, you can click on it and copy the URL from here. Can give it a reaction and go back to the challenge, reply. See people replying now. This is a link and an emoji, maybe.
Yeah, and this is a new thing we did this year, was publish a lot of the abstract on the community of practice, and that was to make it easier for people to read more detail about presentations this year and have a chance to interact with the submitters a bit. So you can ask them questions, you can comment on their work, you can like their work, obviously, react to it. But this is intended to make it easier for you guys to all share your work and comment and have a dialogue about it even after the conference is over.
Nice. So let's see. I think a lot of people also responded to the poll here. Let's see how many people responded. How many minutes do we still have left? Maybe I can start.
I think we got 2 more minutes.
Okay, so 17 people responded here. Oh, right. 78% got the correct abstract post. That one is talking about efficient data flow from remote zones and subzones. Overcoming barriers. How do you easily find out? You can copy these words, and in the search on the community practice, if you paste that, click here. It's only the only result out of all of abstracts has these words. That's one way, or you really like really good reader. And here we have 21 people who voted. How often do you wish to visit the COP? On a weekly basis? Daily, we have daily 33%. Monthly, first time here. Welcome. Welcome, Rio. Let's check out how many people gave likes. Oh, okay.
All right, looks like Jim Grace might have been the first person to get all 6 stars. Congratulations to Jim.
Right.
And Gassim, I think we got to wrap it up so we can move on to the opening plenary, but I think you have a couple more slides you wanted to share.
Great. So yeah, I think everyone here who participated at least has 1 star, deserves a COP activity winner badge for participating. Congratulations, Jim Grace. You got all the stars. Barnabas, he could have gotten the stars, just 1 emoji reply, like this one, a smiley face. Okay, so that was, I think, the whole game, the whole point here. And at the same time, when you did these, if it's for the first time, you're going to get badges automatically. And I would like to remind everyone the voting for the app competition. It ends tomorrow, 12 noon Oslo time. So please go to the COP. If you can't find the post in the COP, use the tag app competition over here, app competition. Click on that, and then 2024 post. Click on that, and you'll find the videos. And then here you find the voting in the main topic posts. So you only have 1 vote for each finalist. Voting time is limited. Until tomorrow, results will be shown once the voting is complete. We have 126 people who voted. Make sure you watch videos and to make the selection that you want. That's about it. So thank you. I hope we can play the video. If you tell people the video, what about tell them about the video and we can play it.
Hello.
Hey,
Hello,
My name is Mulas Mali from Zambia.
My name is Ayman.
my name is Sarah Godden.
I'm Natsafoti, Director of ICT.
Hello. I'm honored to be recognized as a helpful member of the DHIS2 community of practice.
My name
Being
is
in the
Sarah
community of
Godden.
practice
I'm
feels like
Natsafoti, Director
being
of
in a
ICT.
big
I'm
supportive
honored to
family.
be
And
recognized
I've
as a
been
helpful
using the
member of the
community of
DHIS2
practice for a
community of
number of
practice.
years
Being in
now.
the
Through the
community of
wonderful
practice
community
feels
of
like
practice,
being
We're
in
here
a big
professionals
supportive
and
family.
IT
And I've been
experts
using the
sharing
community of
knowledge and
practice for a
expertise
number
to
of
make
years
the most of
now.
the DHIS2
together
community
to
of
share knowledge,
practice,
solve challenges, and push boundaries.
Everyone's
Experts
ideas
sharing
are
knowledge and
important, no
expertise
matter
to
how
make the
small.
most of the
It's been
DHIS2.
really
Together to
helpful
share
on a
knowledge,
number
solve
of
challenges, and
projects.
push whether you are a beginner or an expert. There is a place
no matter
for
how
you.
small, or share
It's been
what you
really
know,
helpful
solve
on a
problems
number of
together,
projects.
and help each
Whether you
other
are
out.
a beginner
so
or an expert,
Many
there is a
things
place
that I
for
need
you.
Or
practice.
share what you know, solve
I'd like to
problems
show
together,
my input to this
and help
amazing
each other
community.
out.
Keep up the
Just
good
so
work.
many things that I
Thank
love
you.
about the
Thank you,
community practice.
DHIS2
I'd like to show my
practice.
immense appreciation for this amazing community.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you, DHIS2 community of practice.
All right. And a big round of applause for Al Ghassim, who joins us from Yemen. We've been trying to get him to Oslo for the last several years, and it's just really impossible. But I'm glad he could join us online. And we're going to start off
Thank
the
you.
next. Thank you. We're going to start off the next plenary, and just
One last thing.
oh, go ahead.
We're making a post on the COP with the full video recordings that the community, helpful community and active community members recorded, and I hope you take the time to watch those as well. Thank you. Enjoy
Thank
the
you.
day.
And now I'd like to bring up Sophia to introduce the main plenary of the morning.
Thank you so much, Max. And I'm so short, so we'll try my best. Hello. Both my mother and my father were short, so I did not get that part of the genes. But hello, good morning, everyone. My name is Sophia Koziakis. I'm a South African living in Norway and working for the University of Oslo. I'm really honored and proud to be working with the education team, DHIS2 for Education. It's myself and Knut Staring, upstate New York, who are really working together closely with the HISP network and with the Ministries of Education to really define and understand what it is that DHIS2 can contribute towards the education sector. But hopefully also to help DHIS2 understand how nuanced the education sector is. And I think what I enjoy the most is that DHIS2 does not come to replace other systems, but can hopefully work well and complement where there are gaps. So I think it's a green field and it's exciting, but I think there's also a lot of important questions to be asking and research and knowledge generation to be developed. So we really appreciate the fact that we can have an education dedicated plenary session. We have a really lovely lineup of speakers, both from the UNESCO IIEP, which is the International Institute for Educational Planning, as well as the Ministry of Education from the Kingdom of Eswatini and UNICEF Eswatini. So we unfortunately can't have one of our colleagues, Stan Maposa, here with us today from the planning department, but Stan, if you're online, you're here with us in spirit. So. Just as a quick introduction, I think importantly to say thank you to Christine and Ulla and the team for allowing education to come into the family. Education is such an important part of our societies. It's a human right. It's a force for sustainable development, for peace. Every goal in the 2030 agenda requires education to really empower people with the knowledge and the skills that they need to build their societies and to live a life they have reason to value. But we have so many millions of children that are out of school, children and youth that are out of school, those that are in school, many are not learning basic numeracy and literacy skills when they are sitting on school benches. And so many adults are illiterate still, so this is having a ricochet effect as we work our way through our educational careers and into the workforce. And the SDG 4 roadmap, the goal for education, it does give guidance to governments and to partners on how to turn these commitments that we have into action. But really, the education sector still faces two really broad education data challenges, and that is the availability of timely data and the limited use of data. And what we found is that responses to these challenges often fail to build the required capacity to maintain and evolve systems and data practices over time. So there's an important, sorry, to just take a step back. With schools or learning institutions rarely seeing reporting burdens translated into locally relevant action. Data systems are the basis for policy and priority development, but they still require really extensive capacity strengthening to implement reforms in many countries and to mitigate inconsistent use of data. So we have these long-standing issues in the education sector, but we really see a growing demand for innovation in education data production and use. So we have managers and policymakers increasingly expected to answer questions about not just numbers in a classroom or the number of desks or very kind of annual census type questions, but also answer questions about teaching and learning processes, about learning outcomes of our children and youth, and pathways that they need to take if they can't go the formal route. Diversity, equity, social inclusion, and really these long-term outcomes of learners. We need to track and follow individuals over a long time through through an entire career of education. And a really high bar has been placed on education management information systems. We have really complex and growingly complex education systems. There's national, there's regional, there's international monitoring requirements, and there's really an increased need for real-time data from EMIS to support learning. And of course, an additional layer is the need for EMIS to support learning continuity and monitoring in the event of a crisis, which we know is happening far too much in our world today, so that we can facilitate uninterrupted access to education for children and youth across the world. So with this very broad, quick background, we thought it would be good before we go into our country story panel to also introduce you to Amélie Gagnon, who is working for UNESCO, the International Institute for Educational Planning. We're really honored to have you here with us today. She will just give us a brief remark, really, about the evolving conceptual boundaries of education management information systems and thinking about how to adapt to the nuances of the education sector. So I think this can help us to place education within the broader information strengthening discussion. So Amélie, please feel free to come up and join us, and I think your presentation is ready to...
Thank you.
Here we go. Just give this here.
Okay. Hello, everyone. As Sophia mentioned, I work at IIP. I'm also a demographer, so I cannot help myself and will ask a few questions to learn about you. So who of you has ever been to school? Raise your hand. Primary school. Everybody? Yeah? All right. Who here is actually working in the education sector, either as a teacher, manager, planner? Colleagues in the back? A few here. Oh, I'm so glad to have you here. It's excellent. Actually, it's a bit like football. You know, yesterday I was listening to our colleague from South Sudan, Director General in Health and Emergency Response, and he was doing some analogies with football. And I think education is a bit like this, right? Everybody went to school, so everybody thinks that can manage the team, right? And so that's why it's sometimes difficult to have actual discussion to show the kind of nuances and the differences between the different sectors. I work at IIP, and our mandate basically is to support ministries of education, and ministries plural, not only because there are many in the world, but also because within countries, sometimes there are different ministries that manage different programs or sub-programs of education. And so we support them through technical cooperation, applied research, and professional training. So we have different types of programs, online, on-site, different durations, different equivalencies with national education system. And so that keeps us really busy. And we have 3 offices. I'm based in Paris, but also we have colleagues in Dakar and Buenos Aires. We have kind of a regional distribution of work. So why do we need an EMIS? Of course, I'm assuming everybody has figured Education Management Information System, right? Perhaps this clicker works. The assumption is if we have better data, then we will be able to do better monitoring. Then it means that we will make better decisions, better implementation of the plans, the policies, the different programs and projects, and therefore the children will have better learning outcomes, better scores in the test, but also better fulfilling jobs when they leave the school, and any types of educational results, better quality, better quantity, better equity also in the system. This will be reflected in society as a whole. And I'm assuming, I mean, I'm saying all this, but I'm assuming that in your mind, you know, you're already tracing all the parallels with the health sector. When we talk about NMS, and we try to define this, I mean, I'm kind of drawing the conceptual boundaries because there's many definitions that we use in education, but I think this is the longest one I'm going to present this morning, but it's also perhaps the most complete one that helps us to really frame what we need in education when we talk about MSs. And so an MS, what is it? Is it a coordinated network of people, organization, institution, different technologies, softwares, processes, procedures also. We have to think about the procedures, the rules, all the kind of legal frameworks that support data management, and that this coordinated network needs to produce fit-for-purpose data. And when we talk about fitness for purpose, well, we have to make sure that we collect the right amount of information that we will use, and we don't spend time collecting information that will just stay in the databases. And so quality has different dimensions, but of course, the better quality, the better results. As we say, you know, garbage in, garbage out. It works with every sector, and education is not an exception. For who are we building these MSs? Well, of course, everything that is an MS needs to be useful for planners and managers, regardless of, you know, if they're working in primary education, secondary, tertiary education, or even preschool, regardless if they work in general education or TVET or technical professional training, regardless if they work in the public sector or they manage also aspects of the private sector, even if they work at the central level, but also at province, region, district, even at school level. So we have to cater for different users, different types of needs. We talked a lot this week about the interoperability of the datasets, the different functions, the different apps that we have in DHIS2. We also have to think about how we collect data, how we process them, manage, store, eventually archive them, and how do we make them useful for analysis and also for decision making, obviously. And all this is part of an actual MS, and we tend to forget actually that this is also part of what is the MS. In education, of course, we have to collect information on users of the system, so that the students, the learners, but also on the staff, teaching staff, non-teaching staff, but also all the different kind of mechanisms that support the education delivery. So the infrastructure, the different learning materials, textbooks, chairs, benches, whatever, the financial resources also. And finance, I think we learn, we will hear from colleagues a bit later, but finance is something that is sometimes overlooked in our data management systems, in health as well as in education. Of course, we have quantitative and qualitative data. Maybe you remember your inspector visits at school when you have someone from outside coming into school to see how teachers are teaching, to make a survey of how the school is being run. So inspection reports are very useful also as a source of data. And so we have to capture all this and make this data all usable altogether. And one of the last aspects is also about governance. Governance is super important and super messy sometimes, but it's all about creating these legal frameworks, these procedures, these definitions, these processes for accountability to make sure that the MS is, or data production as a whole, if we use a kind of an umbrella term, that data is being produced, used, and maintained in a sustainable way, and so in an accountable and sustainable way. And so that's why we emphasize the fact that we need to sustain financing of MSs. And so I heard colleagues from Togo mention that on Monday. And we also have to sustain the professional capacity of people to use and maintain and improve these MSs. And I heard that also being mentioned yesterday in one of the sessions. And of course, we have a lot of issues around data ethics. We're collecting information on people, on very young people sometimes, and so we have to make sure that we treat this data very carefully. I think there's a session even today or tomorrow on this issue, so I encourage everyone to attend. So why are we defining all these types of elements of an MS? Well, it's because that these are probably the most holistic way to see an MS, but also these are just as many entry points for work, for specialization, for expertise, and also for improving the technical aspects of our software, our systems, but also doing some research and the professional training to make sure that these MSs evolve as education systems evolve, as they're being transformed, and we will hear from Eswatini also, that has been transforming his education system over the years, and also with this capacity to always have the best system possible to let's say, support education. And I think this is one of the very positive aspect of this event, of DHIS2 in general, is the fact that we have this community of users that can not only pitch in ideas, but also can customize the tool to their own needs and make sure that the tool evolves along their education system. So I will leave it at this for now, and I will be happy to pursue the discussion with the panelists a bit later today. Thank you. Should I sit?
Can you hear me? Okay, yeah. Thank you very much. I'm not that very short, okay. But I'm very short, and it's due to my mom, who is short, also Sophia. Okay, so thank you very much for that interesting introduction. And again, as we have seen, we are all the products of education. And some of us in the HISP, we have also become teachers at some point. When we are training and doing, conducting academies, I think we become teachers. And I think we need to learn from the definitions of the education and then be able to better result and produce good outputs for implementing DHIS2. So I'm Prosper Behumbize. I work with HISP Uganda, and I'm also excited to have been part of this journey for the DHIS4 education since 2018. And I've been on the journey together with the team that is going to be sharing today's use case or experience from the field. And I'm here to introduce and usher on the stage our colleagues from the Kingdom of Eswatini. And we'll start with Nel Siwe Damine, who is the acting Director of IMIS and the Ministry of Education and Training, and she has been the core behind the implementation of DHIS2. Welcome on stage, Nelsiwe, and thank you very much for honoring us. We were also supposed to be having Stan online and also present with us here from the planning, but unfortunately he was not able to make it here, but we are with him and I think he's online. And I also want to usher in Victor Kambure, who is from the UNICEF Eswatini, also the education specialist, who has also had the journey of supporting the Eswatini to implementing the DHIS2. And my colleague again, Sophia, we will have a series of questions to really help us understand how the journey has started, what it is up to now, and what we can be able to learn from this, because education, as we've shared, DHIS for education started in 2018, but as we start counting, there are a lot of interest. So I will first hand it over to my colleague, Sophia.
Thank you so much, Prosper. So again, thank you so much for joining us for this panel. We really appreciate it, and I think there's been a very special way of working from the beginning when I've seen how HISP Uganda, UNICEF Eswatini, and the ministry have come together for the project, which is now quite a few years in the making, and the baby is starting to, I would say, crawl. Others would say walk, others would say growing still. But we thought it would be really good for us to first ask you, Nelly, maybe for the audience to know a little bit more about the personal ID number driven system, because it is quite unique, and how you feel kind of the vision around that, how you feel that having this ID is able to connect you to different departments, different services, etc. So maybe we could start with that one.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. So, Eswatini, tiny country, landlocked, between South Africa and Mozambique for those who have never been there. As a Ministry of Education and Training, there was a need, Sophia, first and foremost. When we say PIN, we mean a personal identification number. For us in the country, the Ministry of Home Affairs, not usually, we have personal identification numbers which are unique to individuals. They're supposed to get that at birth and registration. And for foreigners working there, they are supposed to have it. And again, for refugees, we do give the Ministry of Home Affairs do give them like temporal pins. Why temporal pins being used? The financial sector, the health sector, the mobile network sectors of late, they all use that. You can't get any service without that, without an ID or a personal identification number in the country. So for us, it made sense when it came to tracking and identifying learners using their PIN because they are supposed to have it. And for you to get education at the primary level, because the country is a co-signatory for the what do we call this? Sorry, I'm nervous. For free education, free primary education. So we're
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Mulus Mali from Zambia.
But for that service to be provided to anyone living in the country, you have to have the PIN. So then we thought if that is the case, we are entering the education sector as a person, you're supposed to have a PIN. Why not just use that to track you and see where you move from? So that's how it began. And then again, we have to know, even if it's primary, then you are elevating or transitioning to another level, which is the secondary. We have the Ministry of, the Social Service Ministry, which is the Deputy Prime Minister's office. They provide services for orphaned and vulnerable children. And again, you have to have the PIN. So it makes sense for us to say, in as much as we as MEs, I'm glad that you introduced the whole MEs concept to the health people. I think you get it now. We as overseas, you need to have the PIN to get the services. This doesn't just, it's not only for MEs to say we are tracking and looking how the services are being provided and to whom, but we're also saying that for all these ministries and the schools to take accountability of the funds being provided by the government, they have to have a way of monitoring. We have to have a way of monitoring who is being supported and the funds, are they going to the right people? And are they doing what it's supposed to be doing at school level? Abuse of finances, it's a thing in everyone's country, I'm sure. But then you have to manage it. You have to have accountability for that. And as a unit, we're tasked the responsibility to ensure that monitoring of all the programs that are being given to schools, given to institutions, it made sense for us to say, no, let's use the PIN, let's track individuals. If a certain school says we are providing services to 100 learners, who are the 100 learners? And are they there? Are they attending? Are they getting the books that they're supposed to get? Are they getting the teachers that are relevantly qualified to give them the education that we need? So that's the whole concept, to monitor that it's being done. Yeah.
Thank you for that. And I remember we had quite a powerful moment in Eswatini when we were there for an assessment of the upgrade to the system, where there was a teacher who told us that before she just knew there was an amount of overseas orphans and vulnerable children in her classroom, and saw that a child was always coming late to class, but now with having the details, she was able to know why that child comes late to class and maybe interact to understand how she can support with a breakfast in the morning. So it's been quite interesting to see how that has been started at national level, but is starting to have a ripple effect as well.
Yeah, coming to that, we have been used to the notion of saying to schools, report on the number of learners in your school, report on the infrastructure, report on your teaching and learning materials that you are getting. But then when it comes to individual, because we should be, as country, we should move away from the notion of just, this is aggregate information that is being provided to UNESCO for one, SDGs responding to those indicators, responding to your UNICEF because they are giving you funds somehow. And then we're trying to move away from that notion to say, at the end of the day, we are dealing with human that we have to be accountable for. So if this particular learner is coming in every day late, and then you are monitoring and seeing the progress of what is happening, it has an impact on the scores they'll be getting, obviously, and it will have an impact on that life at a later stage. So while we are saying, in as much as we're collecting and accounting for resources at school level, but then again, we should move away from that and account for the individual in all perspective, economically, socially, and also mentally, because we are moving into that space now to say mentally, is this child ready for progressing in life?
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much. Just taking on from providing funds, and this is what everybody needs to be able to implement and sustain. From the literature and from what we've been able to gather and work with the Eswatini, and even before we came into the space, UNICEF has been supporting the journey of the Ministry of Health in strengthening the education system. And I know, Victor, you've played a big role. You've been in the forefront of this. And we have so many partners here that we are calling up to really support this implementation. Even in health, we are still also struggling and calling partners to support this. So if you could share with us, what are some of those, behind scenes or whatever is happening, and how you encourage and call up partners to be able to support strengthening and supporting sustainable education management information systems in ministries of education. Victor.
Thank you, Prosper. A very good morning, colleagues. Victor Nkambule is already introduced, working for UNICEF as education specialist in Eswatini. Maybe let me start the sharing on where all this started. In 2018, Prosper, you say you've been around this partnership since 2018. That's pretty much the time UNICEF also got into this space and worked with the Minister of Education. It started with an assessment of the system that the Minister of Education was using at the time, access-based, paper-based system, that the ministry wanted to improve. It had issues around timeliness of reports. I think we were getting reports after a time lapse of about 2 years. And of course, the ministry had identified, as my colleague had mentioned here, the need of transitioning to a more efficient system. So UNICEF, through our regional office based in Nairobi, a team came to the country to do an assessment of the system so that we understand what we're currently operating on, so that we can also better define the transition. And the minister was very clear that it needed a system that can track the learner, as already alluded. And we then looked around and consulted countries that were already aware of DHIS2, especially for health. And at the time, we were being advised that there is consideration also to implement the same in education. So that's some of the behind the scenes work that we did, the assessment, and of course engaging with the Minister of Education on this possible transition. Maybe worth highlighting here, what made our job much easier is that already there was willingness from the government to consider another system beyond, or that besides the one that they were used to. And maybe also to highlight that moving from your comfort zone to maybe an unfamiliar terrain that was one of the challenges which we had really to work with government to overcome. But what was important at the time was that UNICEF had a very good working relationship with the Minister of Education. So when we recommended DHIS2, it was not difficult for the ministry to consider and adopt. And we supported the team to actually look at other systems that were available in the region. And then I think finally the ministry settled for DHIS2. And like I already highlighted, it was very, very important to remain available and support the process through. And I think my colleague has actually highlighted that it's a system that is already being implemented. It was launched in March this year, and it's been a very long but fulfilling journey.
Thank you very much. And again, really what we pick out of this, it's not all about money. It's the commitment of the partner and the minister, together with the ministry, to be able to deliver this. So we really appreciate the UNICEF support that has been behind this. And again, we can see that you are again on the stage with them. So thank you very much. And
check, yes. So we have seen quite recently, we were sent a YouTube link to the budget speech. We've seen numerous newspaper articles throughout the implementation, and just recently when you did your official launch, the Observer from Eswatini was there at the launch, documenting and sharing. You know, we had the 16th day survey already, numbers coming through. So all of this is really showing a real government-wide support to the project and for strengthening data systems in the country. Can you share with us a little bit more what were some of the strategies or the hard work behind the scenes that we're not seeing? Because really, when we received that link to the budget speech and it was presented, I think recently now you've also just had some more success with the Ministry of Finance. Can you share a little bit more? This is a question to both Nelly and to Victor. What's some of that hard work behind the scenes that's been actually going on?
Thank you, Sophia, for that. Actually, when the budget speech, the Ministry of Finance, because again, when we were looking for which system to use to monitor and track learners throughout the system, then DHIS2 came in, and we're all worried that it was a health-based system. But we took courage in the fact that the health is tracking everyone who is ever need a health service, their health service providers. So then we're like, if health is doing that for everyone, education might as well do that. And when we went in to say the system can track actually the learner in school and can take accountability for the free primary education grants being distributed to school, they can take accountability to say, so and so has received education in this certain education institution, and at this point in time, or this academic year, which I learned that the 3 key points of DHIS2, the who, where, and when. So for that, it was, let's do this. Ministry of Finance was just behind it, that if we can account for every penny or every cent that government is putting into the education sector, well and good, let's do it. So, yeah. Yeah.
And maybe just to add that, Sophia mentioning that DHIS2, the transition in Eswatini, was actually mentioned in the budget speech. This is, for us, a sign of government commitment to to the system. The political will that I earlier mentioned is actually one of those things that's very, very key to drive this. And government is actually already supporting financially the rollout, the implementation of this very important intervention. And in fact, education in Eswatini is the first sector that is implementing, and I can confirm that it has also generated interest from the Minister of Health. In fact, they are aware that this is a health, initially this is a health-oriented system, and they are seeing government, education implementing, and they are now motivated to also follow suit. So I think this has been very, very important in that sense, as well as inspiring also the other sectors to consider to implement. But also maybe one would have missed a very important point in actually acknowledging the support that we have received throughout this journey from specifically HIS Uganda, and the team has really been so supportive, and also at some point we were linked with HIS Mozambique, our neighbors, and this structure has been very instrumental in ensuring that we get the support and motivation that we needed, and the confidence really to move from a system that government has always used to a system that everyone was learning something. And we implemented this at a time when it was very difficult to move around, because this was during COVID, and at some point we had to do work remotely, but the determination to get things done led us to where we are today.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And taking it from the, when we stepped in the space of education, data quality trust was one of the biggest issues. Like when we were telling the education team that you need the school to collect their data and submit it, it was one of the things they have never heard about. And so it was very difficult, because traditionally, the national level would go to the schools, collect all the data, bring it up to the national level, enter it, many months and months compiling the data and entering it, and then of course the quality would also be another issue. But we have seen Eswatini really move direct from the national level to the school, to where they have entrusted the teachers to be able to collect the data, get the tablet, enter it into the system. So to Nelly, we wanted you to share a little bit about this mind change and what you've been able to do to ensure the quality, the timeliness, and the trust within the data that has been collected by the school.
Yeah, change of mindset is something difficult, I tell you. So with schools are mandated to report to the MEs. So we've been collecting information from schools since 2004. And it has always been paper-based. Then we enter the information at national level. Then you come with DHIS2, and then you're telling now the schools to say, we want real-time data. We've been consistently, I was telling her yesterday that at least we have been consistently late in reporting. 2 years later, rest assured, Eswatini will be submitting their reports on education, but then for planning purposes and accountability purposes, you can't say 2 years ago, this is what, and this today, you can't even mention the number of learners in school. So with this, it was real time. You enter the information now, the analysis is there, the tables are there, the dashboard is there for you to see. You can't even question or lie about it to your principals. And then we went to the schools to say, now it's your responsibility to enter that information at that particular given time that we will need it. So we have census dates, and then you are supposed to be done as a school by then, which is much for us. Coming to the school's principals to tell them that those papers will be a thing of the past. we are moving to tablet, to a web-based system, and we will know that you have reported or not the rent day, and we will call you. It was daunting at first, but then exciting later to say, when they saw the dashboards, to say, this is your school, because we had the legacy data already inputted by the DHIS2 Uganda team. They could see their trends, and then they were questioning even their data at certain points, that what happened to this, why do we have the drop in enrollments? And then the others were answering, no, it's during the time that certain schools was open, another school was established next to us, so learners were going there. Coming to teachers, you know, when you fill in questionnaires anyway, airport or whatever, you just do it because you just want to get through with the whole process of filling in that information. You don't even think about why they need that information from you. Why are they looking for your mobile number in a whatever? You don't think about that. But then when it came to the quality of data that was being sent, that was being forwarded to us, we had to then go back to all the schools, have focal teachers. They have focal teachers that have to fill in the information, explain each and every question why we need that information. If we say we're asking why, how long does a child take to move from home to school, that's information. It's an international standard that we want to see. But then again, it will inform them. How they use that information will inform them on how they can assist and also provide better education or services to that particular lane. So we had to go through that, training all of the 916 teachers on the form, and then we move from the form to say the data element responds to this indicator, and this is how we respond to it, and be factual as you can, because if you lie tomorrow, the following year, this dashboard will be showing the trend, and you'll have to be answerable to say why the change is there, because you can easily see it. So we train them on that, and then we train them on the system, and then we use the same dashboards with their information to make them see how their data, what their data says. And then we borrowed another lesson from health, a data quality assurance monitoring tool, whereby we went with the team to schools to say, you said in your annual education census, which is an aggregate form, you have 200 learners. And then the individual learners that you have in your line list is 205, if there's that difference. And then we went further to say, from the class registers, because they're still paper-based, the way they manage their schools, they have class registers. You have 109. I'm making an example. What is the difference? Explain. Different numbers, different data sources, same school. What is the difference? So we are using that methodology to say, let us not only look at what is being fed in the system, let us also go to the schools to look at what is physically there. We would love to get into class at some point to count the learners in that certain class, to say, yes, you had 25 learners in your line list, and you have 25 learners in your aggregate, and surely we can physically see the 25 learners. So yeah, ensuring that the data is credible at its best. We have taken the lessons that DHIS2 Uganda came with, and we're implementing that.
Thank you, good lessons. UNESCO,
Yeah.
again, I think you're surprised to the level of that. You can.
No, but I think, we're making very good point. And I think, so, like, as a reminder, the magnitude or the volume that an education sector deals with of people, of processes is really, duplicated, I think, regarding the data stuff from the health sector. Just to give an example, yesterday I was looking at, very quickly, the data from Ethiopia. Just for primary education, there are 37,000 facilities. So I think that's kind of a small or medium health system, no? Is it? And there's about almost 2 million students, daily users of these schools. And so it means that if you want to record the daily use of a school, of 37,000 schools daily, or sometimes there are 2 shifts in school, you really have to have strong processes. And the issue of quality and the trust that you mentioned also is paramount. I think it's paramount in any sector, but I used to work at UIS, so the UNESCO office responsible for monitoring SDG, and I had a director that was saying, he was Dutch, but he was saying it in French. It's la confiance vient au pas, elle repart au galop, meaning trust comes walking, but leaves running. And so if you cannot build that trust in the data, not only it will not be used, but people will just won't report and won't make the effort. And so building trust in a data system is one, it's not necessarily really regarding data, but it's like kind of the end result that you want to have when you build these MSs or health HISs or whatever the system. And we know from practice, from research, that the more people are involved in the data collection processes and data use processes, the more they will report better quality, more frequently, so avoiding delays, and also the more engaged they will be by using these results. And so the example of the dashboards, I mean, anyone who has worked in a school or in a district knows that, you know, you typically would send the data up, and it would stay up. There's no gravity, right? You just send the data up and it never comes down. and we know that building this what some people call ownership, you know, or engagement. This is the idea that, well, we talked a lot about micro planning in this forum, but it's the idea that the more the local users and the local those people who deliver the service will be engaged in the policy making, in the processes, in the different requirement, the more they will be engaged, the more they will own the processes, and actually the better trust they will be, the better results they will be, and so it's kind of a virtuous loop, basically. And so basically this brings me to the last point I wanted to make, listening to you, colleagues, is that what we're doing when we are building MSs with DHIS2, with other systems, is we're building this data culture. And so data culture is way beyond statistics, way beyond data points and coding, but it's basically what we're trying to build in the education sector.
Thank you very much.
I think that was a wonderful way to help us reflect on what we've heard from the ministry and from UNICEF. Thank you so much. And I think we can open for maybe a few questions, if there's any from the audience, before we move into our final session for this morning. So please feel free.
There's one here.
So hard to see.
Good morning. My name is Hersi. I'm from Somalia. I'm the director of PSM, but I spent some time on the EMIS in the last 1 year. So I have a question on how the ICT in education and EMIS work together in your department. We know that ICT and EMIS have some relationships, and do you have an ICT expertise within the department, or how does the EMIS work with the ICT team if it's in another department? My other question is the biometric attendance. Have you implemented any biometric attendance in your country, or is it taken manually and then entered into the system? My last question is do you have programs like school feeding, school health programs, and if these are implemented in your country, does the system cater for these programs and collect information for analysis? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. You can easily tell that he knows EMIS. So for us, I think one thing that I haven't mentioned is how short-staffed we are. Most MS units have like ICTs, the planners and staff, but we are really short-staffed. So moving to ensuring that we trained with the teams, teachers, it made sense to us. We only have one T support person in the unit, and we had to get on board with the system very quickly. Luckily, we're fast learners, so yeah, was managing that. And then coming to the school programs, we are monitoring everything that it has to do with education in institutions. And within the form, when the data collection form for individuals, like for the learners, we have the different sections. We have one on the learner profile. Then we have on overseas status of that particular learner, special education need of that particular learner, and if they are receiving like meals. We both have those questions in aggregate and also individual level. We have that, and what was the other one? It's good fielding, yes, we do have that, we monitor that too. Yeah, it's broad, it's across all the programs being implemented in the education sector and also at school level. We monitor that at aggregate level, that is the school annual censuses, and also at individual learners. We also look across that. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
One more question, and then we can, yeah.
Merci. Désolé, je vais encore parler en français. Je suis Daniel du Togo.
Then are you here? Oh, Amélie, sorry.
Ok. Merci pour le partage d'expérience de l'équipe de Eswatini. J'ai deux petites questions. Je voudrais savoir, est-ce que ce système utilise la contribution des acteurs communautaires pour, par exemple, capter le nombre d'enfants qui ne sont pas scolarisés, qui devaient l'être, par exemple. Juste une curiosité, juste pour savoir. La seconde question, est-ce qu'il y a une connexion entre le DHIS2 pour l'éducation et celui de la santé pour pouvoir permettre certaines analyses? Merci.
Merci. So the question is, the other question, so thank you, Eswatini, for sharing the experience. He has a question on the system that you use. So how, or is there rather a possibility for contribution from local actors and community actors? The question is related to identification of children that are not in school. And the second question was, is the system connected, like, is the system for education connected to the system for health? Or are there kind of connections between the two data systems?
Okay, for Messi. So for the out of school learners, it's a good valid point. Thank you for that. I think we need to work with the community to see how we find that. We find those learners and bring them back to the education. Thank you for that contribution. And then for... Oh, okay. We're exploring that because for the Ministry of Health, we have the school health programs that usually use our data for their planning purposes and also for distributing services to learners in school. So we are looking forward to doing that right now because we like Sophia said, the baby is crawling for us. So linking the health information with the education, it would only make sense. I think by the end of the year, we should have done that.
What I've appreciated as well, Nelly, is you're like, let's get our foundation steady before we start, because there's a lot of interest to keep adding. Yeah. So really, I think we can say thank you very much to everyone who's been on stage today. Will you help us to give a warm round of applause to you all? I say, siyabonga. Siyabonga.
Yes, thank you very much. And just for the lessons learned through this whole experience with Eswatini and together with the Gambia, we've been able to extend and start working with now, I think our team is busy setting up South Sudan, the TVET section. We're working with the Ministry of Education in South Sudan. And we also have Nigeria also coming up, and Ethiopia and Rwanda and the rest are all coming up. So this is one of the initiatives that you can take back home and be able to implement alongside health. And again, if you come to the afternoon sessions, you will be able to hear how Uganda has tried to work alongside with health to be able to implement this. So when we started the journey of the DHIS for education in 2018, we were using mostly the core, and we wanted to really build everything on the core, that is using the tracker, and quite often we were on the doors of the tracker developers trying to change this, change that to be able to suit the education needs. Last year, during the same conference, a small team sat in the room and said, I think it's time to start the discussions of the extension of DHIS2. And so we conceived the idea of coming up with CMIS, which is coming up very soon here. That was introduced in the plenary by Christine, so it's an extension, and it's a tool that is being carefully designed, or an app that is carefully being designed to ensure that it also serves back in health, because we are learning from each side. So a lot of the functionality that you may see here may be very interesting for health implementation, but wait a bit, it will all be coming together. But I'm just happy to introduce Alfredo Changa from Sauditas, he's Mozambique, who has been leading a team of developers across the HISP network. This is one of the areas where we have also been collaborating, not for the first time, but in a better way to deliver one product that we can quickly be able to use. So I will applaud Alfredo and his team for the leadership, HISP Sri Lanka, HISP West Africa, HISP Uganda, and all the others that have contributed. So we're just going to give you a snapshot of what you expect to see in the plenary session, so please join us. If the numbers are very many, we can come back to this main plenary, but we want you to come and be able to learn how this tool works. So, Alfredo, over to you.
Okay, thanks, Dr. Prosper, and good morning to everyone. Just waiting for the slide to come. So I will be presenting the CEMIS app. Basically, CEMIS is the DHIS2 tracker module for the education sector. And I will explain about the process that was taken in order to develop the application, how the system is designed, what is the structure, and how flexible it is, or how can it be implemented in different domains. So CEMIS, as I said, is a tracker implementation, and basically is based on the education sector concepts. And what we did is create a platform that can be used to plan. So at the beginning of the academic year, there are some planning activities that are taken. So we plan, we enroll students, we update the teacher details, and we do other activities. We also perform some continuous activities, like taking attendance, recording the marks for the evaluation and exams. And at the end of the year, we need to know who is going to be promoted to the next academic year, who failed, to pass the exams and other activities. So basically, we do all of that on this SEMIS application. And we took a very long journey to have what we have now. We started from a different isolated application. So here we have some examples of some apps that were built separately. So each ISP group was working on their own strategies to have something to solve local needs. Then we discussed, as was mentioned last year, and we established a kind of DHIS2 for Education technical team. And the idea was to see how can we join our activities and our strategies in order to build a solution that is common for all of the DHIS2 implementers. And based on that, a team was established. We have South Egypt, HISP Uganda, HISP West Central Africa, HISP Sri Lanka, and of course, coordinated in coordination with the HISP Center. And basically what we do is we do requirements gathering. So we're doing DHIS2 implementation for education in the field. So we know what the ministry wants to have in the system. So we discuss about that. We prioritize. So we define, based on our implementations, what are we going to do first and what are we going to do after that. And then come the technology part, where we do the development. So we have different developers for all of these HISPs here. So we share the task, we work, and finally, we also share the resource. What are resources? We share training materials, we share field implementation experience. I mean, we share everything in order to better go ahead. And one of the biggest challenges that we had is the data model. We had several data models in order to make sure that we have a system that is working for the DHIS2 sector. I have here more details that we'll be sharing during the DHIS2 for education sections. So at the end of the day, what do we have? Well, we have a system with different modules. The first one is the enrollment module, so we can enroll the student. We have the attendance module, we can take attendance. We have performance module, we can record the performance values. We have the final result module, where we can assign the final result. And also, we have the transfer module. So we can move teachers for one school to another one. We can move students for one school to another one using this module. I will now quickly go to the demo. I'm here now logged in as a school user. And once I go to the application, I'm going to have the SEMIS app. That is the one that is going to be used by the local staff. We have the SEMIS school calendar, so we can define what are the school days for that country, what are the holidays, and other kind of events. So when I'm taking attendance, I know that I will not make the attendance module available during the weekends, for example, if the weekends are non-school days. And if it's a holiday, I know that I won't take attendance during the holidays. And we do that using the school calendar. So each country can configure the system based on their own reality. And we also have the SEMIS configuration application that is more for the system administrator to link the tracker model with the user interface. So now I will go through the different modules. I will just do a quick demonstration, and later on during the afternoon, I will do a deep dive in some of the modules. So I'll just select this one. This is the enrollment module. As I said, I'm logged in as a teacher in a specific school. Once I come here, I have to specify the school. I have to specify the grade. So I select here, I have different grades. And also, I have to specify the class or the section. And everything on the education sector is done based on academic here. So everything we do is based on academic here. So I have here this example where I just selected some records. So here, what I want to do is basically enrollment. We want to enroll new students. So I will take an empty class. And we have here this option to enroll a single student. When you do that, the system brings a form where you can fill the enrollment details, the academic year, the grade, the class. You can fill the student profile, so what we usually call the target attributes on the DHIS2 world. And we also have the general details that most of the times are socioeconomic details, most of the times are socioeconomic related values. And we fill here what we want to fill. But we also have a bulk enrollment option. As we might know, in most of the time, it might be very hard to do data entry one by one. So basically what we did is, at the school level, the users can come and download a data entry template. So they can come here, they select the academic year, and then they say how many students they want to import in the system. I can say I want to create 20 records. So I download the template. So I have one here, download it, and with some data. So we're just going to refresh it. So as you can see, I have here the 20 students. I can change whatever I want to change. If I want to change the gender, I have here the predefined options. I do whatever I want to do, and I fill the data. And once I'm done, I can, of course, take this data back to the system. So basically, I come here, I click Enroll New Students, I select the file that I want to enroll, and then I start the import. The system will process and will give me the output. So you can see that I have 20 new students, I don't have any possible duplicates, and I don't have any invalid record. So I can dry run or I can import the students. So the system will process, and all students are imported. And now, as you can see, I have the students, and I'm ready to go ahead. So this is a feature that was taken for the Hispuganda import wizard application. So basically what we did is we converted the task in a more user-friendly way in order to be easy to be used at the local level. So now I have my students. What I do now I want to take attendance. I just click on attendance module. So once I do that, I will be given this list. I will just select a school with some values. So I come here. I say view attendance by specific dates. So I click on the calendar and say I want to view attendance for the last week. So when I do that, let me just switch to a different grade. So when I do that, the system will show me the attendance status for my school, for my grade, and for my class. So I can see what's happening. So I can navigate using the calendar. So something else that we want to improve is to reduce the absenteeism. So we know that in some countries, we have a lot of problems with young girls that start school, but then don't go based on different reasons. So what we have is we focus more on the absence. So if you want, for example, to see the reason of absence for those that are on red, you just click here, and you can see that what is the reason of absence for all of them. And you can take some actions based on that. If you want to take a new attendance, you basically select the date. Let's say I want to take attendance for today. I just click today, and then I call by the names, and they mark the attendance status. Basically, I'm calling. I say absent or present. If it's absent, I need to specify the reason of absence. And this is flexible. We don't limit the number of attendance status. You can set up late or something else. And of course, we don't limit the reason of absence. You do it based on your own configurations. The next one is the performance module. So on the performance side, we can record results based on some predefined exam type. On this case, we are using a terminal approach. So at the end of each term, we want to record the term result for each student on the different subjects that they have. But if you think that terminal is too much, you can say, okay, I just want to record the annual result. And you can just take the data once per year. And If you think that you have enough resource, you can say, I want to take it like daily. Every time that there is one exam is taken, I want to record the values. That is something that is also flexible. And if you want to record performance value, you just select the grade, the school, the grade, the class. You select the term, and then you start filling the values based on what you want and how you prefer to do. So as you can see, once the value is sent to the database, the border changed to green, meaning the data is saved. So now I will go to the next module, that is the transfer module. And on this side, we have two workflows. One is the outgoing transfer. So it means we are sending students for our school to a different one. And then we have the incoming transfer. It means that someone is sending students to my school. And we have here also a predefined workflow. If I want to perform a new transfer, I basically select the student that I want to transfer and click here on Execute Transfer. I select the school that I want to send, and then I specify the reason that I want to move the student from this one to another one. After that, I just click here, and the student is sent. And you can see now I have this pending status, 1 hour ago, time zone things. On the incoming side, when someone sends a student to my school, I need to approve or reject. So here I have one that was approved, and then this one is not yet validated. So I can choose if I want to approve or if I want to reject. If, for example, I want to approve, I just click here, and I say confirm that I want to move for this school to mine. I say yes, and everything is okay. The student is approved. Finally, we have the final result module. So as I said, at the end of the academic year, we need to assign a final result. So what we do is, I always select the grade, school, and class. It's mandatory for the education side. So I will now just take some examples. I select my school. I select my grade, let's say grade 2. And then I select also my class. So I have this list of students, and I am now at the end of the academic year, and I want to assign final result. I do the same. I select the students. First of all, I want to select those that are promoted. So I select, and then I say, assign a final result to promote it. And I say, OK, promote the student that I selected. As you can see, they are all promoted. And I can say that there are some students that, unfortunately, they didn't pass to the next level, so I can say that they failed. As you can see, it's failed. And also, we have one special option that is the dropout option. And here you can say dropout. I say dropout is special because when you drop out, basically you are saying that the student is not active for that particular academic year. So after doing that, I can now move these students from this year to the next academic year. The procedure is similar. I just select the one that I want to move. I click on Perform Promotion. I select the year. They are now on grade 2. I want to send them to grade 3 next academic year. And then I say that I don't yet know at which class they will be. And once I'm done with that, I click on Update, and you can see the summary. The students were promoted to the next academic year. And if I go there, I will see the students. So basically, that's what the system can do. What we are planning to do now is to expand the system in order to be more usable. Because of that, we have the mobile version. So on the mobile version, you can now take attendance, and also you can perform the performance module. And what we want to do is to make sure that we release this different application in a standalone approach so they can be used in other domains. For example, the attendance module, if we make it a standalone application, we can use it for community sessions. We implement a lot of community health sessions where we give some training, some group training, and we can basically take attendance using this module. We can also apply it on TB, DOT, or other health-related use case, for example. The performance. So performance is the most flexible one because it's basically a bulk data entry. So if you have any system that you want to implement and you want to do a bulk data entry, you can use this performance module. You can change the name to wherever you want to call, and you can use it. And we also have the transfer module that you can, for example, use to manage the equipment life cycle. So we can move equipment for one health facility to a different one. We can approve, reject, and do all of that. So if you want to learn more about DHIS2 for Education, you can visit the DHIS2 for Education website. You can also view and test the system by yourself on the demo site, on the DHIS2 for Education demo site. And of course, you can join our session today on the auditorium 2 for 10:30 to 12, and also for 1 p.m. to 20 past 2. That's all from my side, and thank you.
Thank you very much, and just right on time for the coffee break. And one announcement from Aris, and then we will be released. But please don't forget to sign in and come. We are waiting for you. We can as well change the room. Aris will allow us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So I just have one small announcement. Today, from 12:20, we will hand out some goodies in William Birkness right before. Sorry. Oh, yeah, it's better. Sorry. So today from 12:20, you are all invited to come at William Birkness after your lunch because we're going to hand out some annual conference goodies. So some T-shirts, 1 T-shirt per participant, as well as some bags. For the bags, it will be on the first come, first served basis. So you better eat fast if you want your bag. Yes, and also, as you all know, tomorrow we will have the DHIS2 anniversary celebration. So what we're going to do today, when we're giving you your T-shirts and your bags, you will also receive some coupons. But these coupons will be to be used tomorrow during the anniversary. So it will basically be 1 coupon, 1 food coupon per person, as well as 1 drink coupon for 2 drinks per person. So yeah, so you will receive all that today from 12:20 in William Birkness. Thank you.
So you're not shocked, at 12 o'clock at noon, there will be a testing of the National Emergency Alert System. So all your phones will start to make a lot of noise, and there will also be like the old school big alarm all over. So that's a test, so don't worry, it's not Putin, it's just a test.